Hey guys, welcome back. So when I made that video yesterday, my machine, the drain pump would kick on right after the cycle completed. Like 3 seconds after the cycle complete, the pump would kick on. In about 5 seconds, the cycle complete would go out, which means it went into flood mode. Now, what that means is the pressure sensor on the back of the control board is failing. Now, it's only a minimal failure because it can still run a cycle completely fine. But like I said, as soon as it hits, you saw my short yesterday, as soon as it hits that, it goes haywire and begins to start draining. And I checked the codes shortly after, and it gave me the F3E1, which means pressure system fault. So if I plug this in right now, it's unplugged. The drain pump will most likely come on. And then, yeah, as you could hear, it was like chugging and stuff yesterday. And it's not the pump. It's a very common failure point on these units, and I'm sad to see this happen. But you can actually replace that individual part. But we're just going to go ahead and replace the entire board because we don't have that part and nobody in our house knows how to solder things. So, yeah, we could probably call an appliance guy, but that would be expensive. Probably more expensive than the board itself. And the board is like $200 right now. It's expensive, but probably worth it. But this is a very known issue with these units. Not just under the Amana brand, the Whirlpool, Kenmore, Amana, Crossley, all those other brands that are related to Whirlpool have the same issue. And yeah, it's unfortunate it happened to mine. It is, but what we're going to do soon is replace the control board, and yeah, then it should be working as brand new. I guess I can plug it in for you guys, but it's going to try to kick the drain on. Someone has to be aware of that. Actually, no. You guys already saw the video. But yeah, like I said, it'll do a cycle completely fine. But once it hits that, it will go haywire and start trying to drain when there's no water in the drum. And it'll start pulsating because there's just sucking air at that point. And there's no reason to be draining. So, yeah. I lost the actual paper physical manual for this, but I got a manual online for all the Whirlpool units, and it through the F3E1, which is the most common, like I said, most common failure point in these units. You guys probably remember when the switch is broken. I replaced it, and it works great now. Yeah, I was actually saying to myself a few weeks ago, I noticed, like I was saying, like, oh, this machine's actually lasting for once. I noticed when I ran the clean washer cycle a few weeks ago, that when the cycle completed, it would try to run the drain pump, but it wouldn't just keep running, it would shut off, and then turn back on, and then shut off. I was like, okay, well, that's a little abnormal. But as soon as this one go out, it would just kick on the drain pump every few seconds and off. It would cycle it on and off. But this would still say eliminated. So that kind of gave me, it was probably trying to tell me, hey, my pressure system's starting to go out. You might want to pay more attention to me. But then as soon as I lifted the lid, everything stopped and it was back to normal. But no, my mom was doing laundry the other day, and she was just washing some blankets or whatever, and about half an hour after it was done, the pump just kept trying to run. And so we said, okay, well, let's just hold the start button and reset the board, which fixed it for about 10 minutes. And then it kicked back on. So I was like, okay, well, that's pointing to some clues that the pressure sensor is going out. So we just unplugged it from the wall. And now, when I did laundry yesterday, instead of it turning on a few minutes after the cycle ends, or like half an hour, it'll kick on instantly. Meaning that, yeah, so it doesn't take a while. You have to really pay attention to your laundry, because I don't want to burn that pump motor out, because if that pump motor runs long enough, it'll completely burn it out, which I don't want. So we got to pay extra attention to it. And if it was the pump relay that was bad, the pump would be on, like, as soon as you plug it in. In fact, it'd probably cut power to the board. But no, it's not the pump relay, because the pump turns it off still. Like I said, it runs completely fine during its wash cycle. But as soon as it's done, it'll go haywire. I don't know why it does that. Usually the other symptom is it'll fill and then drain. But this, like I said, it washes just fine until it hits the cycle complete. Then it'll go crazy. So what we're going to end up doing is replacing that control board. And yes, like I said, you can actually get the little part, but we don't know how to solder. None of our friends know how to solder, so we're just going to get a new board. In fact, LA appliance guy I watched, he said the same thing, to just replace the part. Which, if we knew how to solder, we could do, but we don't. So, yeah, we're just going to replace the control board. So, yeah, that's about it for you guys. If you haven't seen my recent short that was showing what happens, go check that out. But otherwise, yeah, I'll catch you guys later. See y'all later.